This is the BOTSLAB G980H. It's a front and rear dash cam. Does 4K in the front, 2K in the rear. So that makes a pretty big difference when you need to see license plates, road signs, etc. as evidence or whatever. Installation straightforward. There's a front camera, rear camera. They both have the little peel thing. You just stick them on the glass. It is a very strong adhesive. It does come with a removal tool if you wanted to remove them at some point. And I would imagine you could probably get a new adhesive pad, something like Amazon, if you did decide to like move vehicles or whatever. You can see here, I just tucked it right behind the mirror, and then you just run the cables down. You could do something a lot better here. This is just a temporary solution until I figure out what to do. And then here in the back, you can't really see it, but it's right there. You just stick it right on. It does have a Sony STARVIS sensor, so night footage is good enough without being super blown out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to test that a lot. You will see that some here in the footage. I live in the middle of nowhere, and there's not a lot of people driving around ever, and there's not a lot of street lights. There's basically no street lights and stuff, so I'm sorry I can't show you that very well, but I will show you some night footage in the school parking lot. Let's go ahead and jump into the footage while we talk about this. Now, one thing that sets this apart to me is it has a ADAS feature, so you get alerts for lane departure, following distance, front vehicle movement, pedestrian warnings. Now, I did get to experience the lane departure, the following distance, and the front vehicle movement, but not the pedestrian warnings. So when I started to drift lanes to pass, it let me know, then it figured out what I was doing and stopped. I did get kind of close to a car at one point because it braked really hard, reaction time and stuff. So it did say like too close or something like that. My wife and I looked at each other like, what was that? And then we realized it was the camera. If you don't like alerts, you can turn those off. I went ahead and turned that off at our next stop because I just, I don't need that. The car already does that. It detects when I'm too close to stuff. It detects when I'm, drifting in the lane and I haven't turned the turn signal on or whatever. So I'll just stay with the car doing that because I'm used to those sounds. Now this one came with a 64 gig SD card in the box. We did about a 2-hour trip to Walmart and then a 2-hour trip home. I recorded the 2-hour trip there to about 36 gigs, 37 gigs, something like that. This does have built-in GPS. It also shows you the speed if you want. At the beginning of the video, you saw the speed on screen. Now I have the speed off just to show you that you can toggle it on and off if you want. It does keep a separate GPS record on the SD card as well as GPS information on the screen. It does have Wi-Fi, so you can transfer clips from the device to your phone real quick if you wanted to. A lot faster than, say Bluetooth dash cams, which can take forever. So I really like this one. I'm never a big fan of the rear camera because then you got to route the cable and everything, but they do give you a very generous amount of cable, so you can route this wherever you need to. If I was going to do this permanently, I would just run it straight down the back window. We have an SUV. If I had a car, I might be more into the rear camera, but because we have an SUV and we use the back a lot and we lay down the seats a lot and stuff, it's just, I'm not the biggest fan, but you do have that option there. Maybe I'll leave it on there. For routing the cable in a car, it'd be really easy. You just go down the back window, go under the seats, go up under the floor mat and come right up to your cigarette plug, your 12-volt plug. Same thing with the camera going down, just set it. I had it kind of behind my mirror, a little offset, because I have my phone holder also right there under the mirror, and I didn't want to move it because I'm used to it being in a specific place. So I just ran it straight down to the 12-volt. Now, you could do a lot with that with cable management if you wanted, or anything like that.